And we're back. Hopefully we're live. Things have been messing up, but it looks like we're all good. Obviously gonna go over training camp practice 9. I was about to start stream like in a little bit, but the Dolphins just restructured Tyreek Hill, so I was like, might as well go live, talk about this. Seems like the deal, let me pull it up. It doesn't seem like the Dolphins extended him. They didn't add any years onto the contract, so it's still a 4-year contract. It just seems like the numbers have slightly changed. Like the next 3 years are going, it goes up a little bit from, it was at like 87 million, 88 million anyways over the next 3 years, to now it's up to 90 million. And now it's like, I think they just bumped up the guarantees, because that's what Rappaport was saying. He becomes like the most guaranteed money added to a contract without adding new years in NFL history. That's what they said. So yeah, so no, it's not an extension. It's just a restructure. It looks like his money went up a tiny bit, but mostly the guaranteed is really what changed. I think the biggest thing with this contract is just like, I'm excited to see what comes out with like how it's structured, you know? I wonder if they change like really the money around. Because Chris Coppin says here, like, there's a large, like he has a 45 mil hit in 2026. So I wonder if they moved that money around, maybe moved it up a little bit. That'll be interesting. So yeah, no new extension, but he got his money. Don't have to worry about Tyreek. Tyreek was kind of hinting on it about it today on Twitter, you know, not too long ago. And then he got his money. What's up, Tyler? What's up, Brandon? How you guys doing? That's how you found out. Yeah, Ramsey with the orange jersey today. He has been balling. But yeah. So we'll wait. I'm kind of just waiting for more news when it comes to the structure of the contract. But it is cool that we just got, you know, that information out about it. It sort of looks like the base terms that people are saying is like a restructured contract worth 90 million over the next 3. That includes 65 million guaranteed. I think that changes the guaranteed like up to like 100 and something. Yeah. We'll wait to see more info, but I think this now means after this, we're up to Holland and Phillips. And I think they probably save a lot of this cap space. I don't know if they're going to get any deals done. I guess they could extend at like during the season. But I think they're going to try to save this cap space to maybe potential trade down the line. The cap space they created with Tua's restructure. And then maybe just roll some of it over. We'll see how that ends working out. But they have room to make moves. After Holland and Phillips, you don't really have anyone on the team draft pick wise that you need to extend in the near future. So we'll see. You think? Hold on, what happened? Oh, Tyreek got he got a new like restructured contract. It wasn't like an extension or anything. It's the same, still 4 years. They just gave him a little more guaranteed money. But we're waiting on more details. But that literally like it happened. It was reported like 15 minutes ago. So yeah, I think the biggest thing is like we want to wait to see what the structure of it is now, like how much he's getting cap hit wise per year. Maybe they added on maybe some dead years too to move the money around. And then also now we can move on to Holland Phillips. My guess, I think with Phillips they're probably waiting because injury wise, and they have the 5th year extension, so they're probably waiting on Holland or Phillips to see how healthy. I could see Holland getting done, but I'm gonna guess if Holland happens, it's gonna be like sometime during the season. Even though I would prefer to pay Phillips just because I think he plays more of a premium position, and Holland wants like premium money at a not as premium position, but we'll see how it plays out. But yeah. Also gonna go over practice today. It looks like they had their first 2-minute period, and we'll talk about that. Some notes here and stuff like that I've seen. Definitely some interesting things to talk about. Because yeah, I was literally just about to go live, and then Tyreek got extended. I feel like from the way people have been talking about it. And also, yeah, Jeff Darlington, I see this tweet from Darlington, makes a good point. I was literally just about to say something similar to this. The Dolphins for their willingness to engage, and Cheetah for his positive approach to desiring a new deal just showed a lot of teams how you do it. That's what I was saying. I think one of the biggest things with this new deal is like, it only added a little bit of money. Tyreek was obviously very positive about it on social media, not making like a huge deal, being like, yeah, it's going to get done. We're not worried about it. And then the Dolphins just getting it done quickly. I think that's a big thing, just showing other teams being like, oh yeah, we're willing to pay our players, help you out. So that's definitely, I think, a positive even for other people to see it. Also, yeah, I think just more guaranteed, and then I think they might have moved up money from 2026. Like that just seems like logically because there was so much money in the 2026 year. I wouldn't be surprised if they move some of that money up to like this year and then also 2025, just to basically lower that cap hit because that cap hit would have been insane. And we'll see. I wonder what it will do for this year because I wonder if the cap. Because I wouldn't be surprised if they actually didn't save any cap this year and actually even use some of it up. Because Tua's created a decent amount. But yeah, that's pretty much all I think on the Tyreek stuff. Oh shoot. Let me pull this up real quick. Go there, and then we'll talk about the training camp practices. People see if they have any questions. Let me mute there. Yeah, we're good. Okay, our time pins up, baby. Yeah, I like that they got this done, taken care of pretty quickly. But yeah, there's not too much information on the Tyreek stuff yet, other than everything we talked about. So. If there's more stuff or you guys read anything on Twitter and I haven't talked about it, just say it in the chat and then I'll try to bring it up. Because it wasn't an extension, it was just a restructure. Like it's technically the same amount of money. Or the same amount of years, more money. More guaranteed money specifically. But yeah, going over practice 9, training camp practice 9. There was supposed to be like the scrimmage today that unfortunately got canceled. It would have been nice to see clips from that. But they still were able to do some stuff. They had their first 2-minute period, according to Wingfield. I'm reading Travis Wingfield stuff. First 2-minute period, and Tua took the offense down the field for a touchdown. Love that. 1:45 to play, down 4, 2 turnovers. Marched them down the field, or 2 timeouts, not 2 turnovers. Marched them down the field with some plays where he evaded sacks and found yardage. His best play was a 20-yard shot to Malik Washington where he got off the front side read. As he got to the backside, the ball was out and right on target. Drive had great tempo when they needed it. Yeah, I heard about this, like, Malik Washington made a big play on 3rd down. Nice to see Tua making plays with his legs, coming off reads in 2-minute specific situations. That's always nice to hear, especially when it's like their first time doing it in practice. Always positives. Now, just build that into actual game time. He also mentioned Ramsey. We said that earlier. Ramsey was in the orange jersey. He brought it again. I love that they've been talking about this a lot with Ramsey. Ramsey's been bringing it every practice. No veteran days off. Just really out there leading. Love that. And then he impacted things moving downhill in the run game / quick game frequently. And this is another thing. They've been mentioning him a lot in the run game, in the quick game. And to me, that just shows me signs like if he's getting that much mention in the run game, that means he's not just playing outside corner. I know we were talking about it yesterday. Tyler was telling me he was playing out there or playing in multiple different spots. But then also just like these little hints is telling me that too. You're hyped, Jack? Yeah, I'm definitely hyped for this season. Glad they got that contract restructure done. And then he said Channing Tindall had a big day among a bunch of standout performances from linebackers like Zeke, David Long, and Duke's work too. Interesting. So seems like, because especially from these names, because typically I've heard a lot about Jordan Brooks, a lot about Anthony Walker. Seems like they've gotten a lot of shine. And then Channing Tindall having his best day, that's nice. Zeke, David Long has missed some practices, but we know what to expect from him. And then Duke also getting some shout out here too. And Zeke Vandenberg has been a name that's kind of been getting shouted out. So I'm kind of excited to watch him in preseason. He was a UDFA last year that got put on the injuries list, so he didn't play all season long. And then I feel like this is the first time I really heard anything about Duke having a standout day. So that 4th linebacker spot will be interesting because we already know our top 3. After that, it really could be Tindall, could be Cam Brown, Duke Riley. It will be interesting to see how that battle plays out throughout the preseason. I will be keeping an eye on those guys, but probably not the closest group I'll be keeping an eye on. I'll be looking at tight ends, D-line a lot. Probably the guard position too, obviously. But then, yeah, that last linebacker spot will be interesting. We'll see who ends up, taking it out. If we have cleared up any space, I think Greer's cooking a big trade, probably for a guard. Yeah, that's like the big thing with his contract. Did they clear space this year? Did they possibly maybe try to clear space down the line? I talked about how 2026 he has a big cap hit, so maybe they just tried to clear some of the 2026 stuff, or maybe it just ends up being all around the same money. But yeah, we'll see. Did I miss your O-line report? I haven't said anything on the O-line today, but from what I've been hearing, here this is what Wingfield said today actually about the O-line. He said, thought Austin Jackson, Aaron Brewer, and Rob Jones all had really good days, mix of run, surge, and pass pro. And Rob Jones, I feel like out of the guards, because Isaiah Wynn's not been practicing because of injuries, I feel like Rob Jones is kind of like locking up one of those starting guard spots out of everyone. And then I think Liam should stay as like your backup center, have him focus being your backup center because he's really the only person you got. And then Driscoll is like your backup swing guard who can also play center. He can move around, play both guard spots. Could even play tackle if you're really that desperate, but I doubt they get to that spot because they have a lot of tackles there. But yeah. But yeah, that's kind of how the O-line has been going. Gallimore balling. I haven't heard too much about Gallimore. There was one practice, like I think a few days ago, where he had like a nice impact. But we'll see. Ryan Hayes, is it true he was doing well as a backup right tackle, or is this false? I've heard positives about Ryan Hayes, but he's in a tough spot. Ryan Hayes actually looked pretty solid in last preseason. I just think he's in a tough spot because he's got to be he's like more of a tackle, and you already have 5 tackles who like have like usually teams only keep 4 tackles, and you already have 5 that like you're trying to keep on the roster. So it's just I think Hayes is a decent practice squad candidate though, and I feel like he looked good last preseason. I've heard positives about him this practice, but we'll see. Let's see. He said Ogba had a good day with his rushes. Sealer, Chop, Kamara too. Seems pretty normal. It seems like the edge guys, the D-line, they've been getting after the quarterback and I feel like they've been positive in almost every one. I've heard things about Ogba, Chop, Kamara almost every time, and then we've heard things about Quentin Bell. Quentin Bell's been one of the names to watch, and I'm excited to see him in action in the preseason. Grayson Murphy as well, Vandenberg. Here's another thing. This is one of the things I've really been loving hearing about. Jalen Wright continues. Jalen Wright continues to impress, and it's the same thing. He just hasn't had many runs where he gets getting stuffed, and it's the conviction he runs with. Love hearing about the convictions. I think I'm gonna do a video on Wright soon. That guy is running hard. Clearly has the burst speed everyone knows about, but like for his size, his ability to change directions laterally, I think he has his vision could be better at times, but I think it's more positive often than not than negatives. And then like his ability to just hit things at full speed is very, very impressive. And I think his acceleration through contact is actually really impressive too. And I think if we get to see, I want to see him in the new outside zone scheme, because I swear to God, I went through every Tennessee game. I didn't see him have one outside zone rep, which he's gonna have to do a lot at Miami. So that's something I want to see because I just haven't seen it in action. Even though I do think his skill set fits it very, very well. Let's see. Tyreek has just been extended. Yeah, he got it wasn't an extension. He just got restructured, but yeah, he got a new deal. Nice to hear. He's still on the team for 4 years. That's what it was. But he got a nice little he got a boost in guaranteed money. What about Eazy-E? McDaniel commented on him today just about his injury. He says it's not the same injury as last time, but it's not the same injury as last time, but he doesn't have the neck injury, but he doesn't have a timetable on his return. Just doesn't seem as serious, you know? 50 people and 6 likes. Yeah, like the stream if you guys want to. Ryder, any word on Chasen Haynes is doing? Oh yeah, the Dolphins signed Sean Harlow, the center, today. I don't really have any information on him. He's 29, and I saw that he just started only like a few NFL games. I looked it up. He only played 16 snaps last season, so I just didn't find any really film on him. Don't really have any strong feelings. I'm guessing he's just a camp body at this point. Chasen Hines. I remember hearing about him a lot on one practice. Like one practice, he really stood out. I remember thinking his film wasn't that bad either when I watched him like a year ago, but we haven't really seen him in action in a while. So, but he's probably another guy that's gonna be tough to crack the roster. Just there's too many bodies at that spot. So Tyreek Hill got that new contract. It happened on Twitter like probably like 30 minutes ago now. Let's see. So it's Dolphins have agreed to restructure contract for 90 mil over the next 3 years with 65 mil guaranteed. So 106.5 million fully guaranteed over the 4 years. Yeah. But we're waiting for like the actual details to come out. They think I'm using a voice box. Why would I choose this as my voice box? Sometimes people think I'm like 12 years old. Yeah. We'll see how that ends up looking. But yeah, going back to this, Jalen Wright obviously running hard. It's always nice to hear that he's just playing very decisive. That's big time. Does this Tyreek Hill restructure allow Holland to get deal done soon? I mean, it makes him next in line. I mean, he's like the next one up, I would say. I just don't know if they created. I don't know if they created any cap space this year, so we'll see. But I do think it's probably like he's gonna be the next guy to get his deal done, so we'll see. But yeah, okay, that's that. He said Jeff Wilson had some really strong runs, and Devon Achane caught a bunch of passes, including the 4th down conversion on that 2-minute drive with the game on the line. Yeah, I heard Achane even had a video about it, like talking about how he got the the touchdown to win the game in that 2-minute drill. You know, like I love the 2-minute stuff. That's some of my favorite stuff when it comes to these practices, and it just feels like Jeff Wilson has pretty much going to be that RB4. Like Chris Brooks is going to have another insane preseason to really fight for it, I think. But I do expect Brooks to get a lot of preseason carries. But that means if he does have a good preseason and you cut him, he most likely gets claimed elsewhere, and you probably can't keep him on the practice squad, which would suck. I originally thought you were hella young by your voice. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just used to it. Like most people, I think it's the mic too that plays into it. But like in real life, I don't really get comments on it. But over the internet, yeah, some people think I'm anywhere from 16 to I've gotten like 10. Yeah, Malik Washington had a nice day too. That's always nice to hear. He had the big 3rd down completion. I've seen some mention of people and like, well, Malik is fighting for that 6th spot. I mean, if Malik doesn't get a spot, I would be very surprised. And then yeah, big day for Jonnu Smith and Julian Hill. Hill had a couple of plays in the past game and continues to be a forcer as a blocker. Smith probably had his most catches of camp, including a pair of really nice runs after the catch on the 2-minute drive with Tua. So definitely the most Jonnu's getting involved. You know, I have high hopes for Jonnu Smith in this offense. I love the scheme fit. And it just seems like the more I'm hearing, like this tight end group is tough. But the more I hear, like, I feel like it's going to be, he's their biggest blocker. And I feel like if you go watch him at Campbell in college, like he was more of a receiver in college than he was a blocker. So he has some ability in the receiving, but if he gets more involved as a receiver, I feel like it would be very tough to move on from Julian Hill. He is your best blocking tight end, and really after Durham Smythe, he's really your only other inline guy because Jonnu, Jody Fortson, Tanner Connor, they're all more like move tight ends, can play H-backs, can even give you some fullback reps. Fortson's literally like a receiver. That's why for me, like I've talked about it, like I know the Dolphins have kept 3 tight ends in the past. I'd rather keep 4 tight ends, 4 tight ends and then 3 running backs instead of 4 running backs and 3 tight ends. And then like if you keep 4 tight ends, then you can probably still get Tanner Connor on the practice squad, and you could still keep all 5 tight ends around. That would be like the ideal situation. Yeah, some of the comments are funny. They usually just make me laugh. How old are you? I'm 27. Which is surprising to most people. Trevor Penning? Didn't Penning get injured though? Wait, who was the one they put on IR? Was that Ramczyk or was that Penning? I think it just depends. I haven't watched Penning in a while. I would need to watch Penning's film to see what the trade would be worth, That's why I'm not too sure with the trade stuff, because I've just been thinking, I haven't watched some of these guys in a long time, and I don't know how still good they are, so I need to see what the trade compensation would be, how much money would be involved in it as well, would we have to extend them, and then watch the film, obviously. Yeah, that probably was Ramchek. But I don't know. What's up, Scotty? But yeah, that's a lot of the stuff. Let's see. Yeah, the late game drive, Tua threw to Devon Achane in the flat on 4th and 1 from the 5 for the touchdown, so that's nice. Looks like Achane was getting a decent amount of targets on that drive, but had a drop. Said he was highly active out of the backfield on the practice winning drive. And then, that big 3rd down conversion was to Malik Washington for 20 yards. Love that. Love hearing Malik Washington being involved, especially if it's a throw from Tua as well. I think that's big time. Because I want to see that chemistry build. I heard a rumor. Should I spread it? Hell yeah. We just extended Hill. Yeah, I talked about that early on. It's technically not a extension. It's just a restructure. But yeah, I get, same thing. Even though, he's saying contract renegotiation can be thought of as a de facto 1-year extension. I guess how you look at it, but still, at the end of the day, it's still technically 4 years on his contract. His money got bumped up. The guaranteed money got bumped up. We're waiting to see how it's structured. So we'll see if it created money on the front end, the back end, how they moved things around. That is I think the biggest thing with this stuff. But we also talked about it's just nice that they got this deal done early, got it quick. Tyreek was positive about it. The team was positive about it. I think that just shows good organization, good practice that other teams, other players can see. So that's nice. People can see it as in a positive light. And it also allows you just to move on to your next player. Now if you want to go to Holland and then Phillips and all that. Ezuk wasn't shut down due to injuries involved in a trade scenario. Rumor, can't confirm. I could see that because, it wouldn't be worth much, I'm guessing, but I wouldn't surprise me if some team that loved him in the draft a few years ago, and was we'll take him. And it is weird that we haven't heard about the specifics. We haven't heard what type of injury it is. But that is a rumor, guys. Are you a Fins fan, or you just do Dolphins content on Dolphins? No, I'm a Dolphins fan. For sure. I've always done, once I started this channel, it was mainly Dolphins content, and then every once in a while I would still post. I do Dolphins and draft stuff because that's I love the NFL draft. I want to do scouting and stuff like that. And then I've been a Dolphins fan, so it's mainly just doing Dolphins stuff, all the draft, and then Dolphins draft obviously focus. And then every once in a while I would post random videos, random breakdowns of other players in the league, just players I really liked. But those videos just most of the people who would see the channel were Dolphins fans, so I just pretty much only make Dolphins content. But yeah, I'm a Dolphins fan. Been a Dolphins fan since I was 10. And I wouldn't be mad about it either, because at this point, is Ezuk Konma even going to make the team? Probably not. If they wanted to keep him, but yeah. A Dolphins fan trapped in Titans territory. Yeah, I grew up in California, though, so. But I was there wasn't really a team in my area when I was a kid. And honestly, I've never been a fan of any of the teams. I think the only team I was ever a fan of that was kind of close to me was USC when I was a kid. All I know if it's true, I hope it involves getting right guard somehow. Oh yeah, you're thinking maybe a player for player trade, someone that could get involved in the O-line room. That would be interesting. That would be interesting, but it's always tough to kind of predict the trade stuff until we start hearing scenarios. What else happened today? Tua talked about OBJ. Apparently Tua and OBJ get along very well. They communicate a lot off the field. Excited to see that connection happen. That's one thing that kind of worries me, is that the Dolphins offense obviously is very timing specific. You got to be on the same page with receiver and quarterback. So Odell not practicing kind of has me worried there. At least he does have some kind of experience when like the Rams ran very similar concepts. So hopefully they can build that chemistry fairly quickly. Let's see. We talked about they signed Sean Harlow. They waived Ireland Brown. Don't really have too much to say about that. Mike McDaniel also talked about the cheat motion. Like we were talking about that yesterday, how people like, I think Pro Football Talk said it was like illegal or whatever, but like they just changed like the language of all of that stuff. They've had refs at practice. They know what is legal and what's not. And as long as they're not moving forward and, it's super abrupt at that, at snap, then it's still legal to do exactly what they want. Did you do a vid on this year camp station Quentin Bell? I keep hearing his name. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do a Quentin Bell video. I think right after Hill did get a new contract restructure. It looks like all we really know so far, like, it's like the next 3 years gonna be like 90 million, and it looks like there's more guaranteed money added, but we don't know like specifics outside of that. But there's no like added years. It's still a 4-year contract, that type of thing. But yeah, there's just no film for me to do on Quentin Bell. Like, he hasn't played in really any snaps in the last couple of years. So I'm waiting for the preseason stuff, and then I'll get like I've talked about Quentin Bell a lot in this stuff, but like these streams, but I haven't made a film breakdown on Quentin Bell yet. But I will do once we get some preseason film and he's actually playing, because he is a guy that's fighting for a roster spot. And honestly, with the edge room being injured, he might, if he makes the roster, he probably would see playing time early on. And he's very interesting because that guy is an athletic freak. Like the things he put up, like when he came out of college, he was more of a tweener, like didn't know if he was going to play edge or off-ball linebacker. He's found more of a home at edge, but if he's kind of put it all together at 28 and, figured out like the mental side of the game and, the technical side, he can still be, at least a decent player. So I'm excited to see him in action. They'll probably add void years. Yeah, that's another thing I want to see if they added void years or because apparently 2026 he has like a 45 mil cap hit. So I wouldn't be surprised if they moved that money either up or back to spread it out a little more evenly. Yeah. I think that's all the stuff that I was looking at earlier. I think that was all we pretty much heard when it came down. And it is interesting because Tyreek got named the number 1 player yesterday. Right? Yesterday? Yeah. Last night he got named the number 1 player, which people are like freaking out about. Like, once I've never really taken the top 100 that seriously anyways. Like, there's always some players that, because like they had Aaron Rodgers in the top 100 this year and he didn't even play last year. And people are like mad about where people are ranked, but it's all fun and games. Ryder, what have you heard on Grayson Murphy? Is he another guy I heard high praises? Sorry, I don't follow news everything. I work a lot, not much time. Oh yeah, here, Grayson, I'm a big Grayson Murphy fan. My favorite UDFA that we signed this year. We've heard a lot of positive. Pretty much the whole edge group. Like, let me look at our depth chart right now. I feel like everyone in the edge group that's been practicing, Chop Robinson, Ogba, Muhammad Kamara, Grayson Murphy, Quentin Bell, even Zeke Vandenberg. I feel like I've heard all of them have had really good camps. So Grayson Murphy's like had sacks nearly every day. He had certain days where he had multiple sacks. I think he's a very interesting scheme fit. To me, it's going to be tough because you're going to keep, obviously, Chop, Kamara, Ogba will probably be on the roster, but he's also like a guy that you can kind of mix in with the D-line room. We talked about that yesterday. And then we'll see if Chubb will probably be on like the pup and the PUP. And then Phillips might be on this roster at the start of the season, might not be. That will maybe add an extra spot too. And then we'll see who has like those last spots, because Quentin Bell's been playing really good. He probably has that spot right now. But if Grayson has a good preseason and they don't want to cut him because they think they would lose him, then they probably keep Grayson around. But if they can get Grayson on the practice squad, I love that, because I think Murphy has a lot of potential. My favorite UDFA this year, and I would love if he stuck around. Appreciate the short vids. Yeah, I mean, some of these streams just go on a while. It just depends. We've been going for 30 minutes. But usually the film breakdowns are usually like 8 to 15 minutes usually. Better accept people, Dolphins fans, new and old. If you know, has what it takes to be a fan. He's like the president of the fan club. I wish I was the president. Ramsey needs to be next. He's a 26 mil cap hit next year and 18 mil in void years. That needs to be fixed. Yeah, but didn't they already move Ramsey's money around this year? You think they're going to do that again? I guess they could. You never know. Didn't he just? What did he get? He got like a nice signing bonus too. I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but. Do you think the Finns pass rush will be an issue this year? I think if the Finns pass rush, I'm not worried about, honestly. I think maybe I have some worries about them setting the edge because even with the guys that are hurt, you might be missing some player. Because I have pretty good faith with Chop and even some of the Kamara and Ogba and some of those guys getting after the pass rusher and even the other guys we were just talking about. I kind of worry about them setting the edge. But if Phillips and Chubb are healthy, then I think this edge group would be one of the best groups in the NFL. So we'll see. But yeah. I think that's pretty much everything, unless people have any more questions. I think that's all the news we had on practice today, because it wasn't open to the public because it ended up getting, canceled and all that. What am I getting? I'm getting a note here from YouTube. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Oh, hopefully it doesn't go to shit then. Yeah, unless there's any more questions, I think that's everything about the practice. I think that's all the news that has come out about the Tyreek contract so far. Talked about all of that. Let me see if anything else has popped up on Twitter. No New Year's added. Yeah, we knew that. This is just about adding guaranteed money. Yep. That's all been talked about. Even Sauce responded to the Tyreek Hill tweet just with a bunch of letters like that. Does that mean he's scared? I mean, to be fair, that's the team that Sauce definitely gets his most trouble from the Dolphins. But yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you guys for watching. I'll have a film breakdown out tomorrow. I don't think the Dolphins are practicing tomorrow, right? So probably no stream. And then going into next week, we'll get some joint practices. That's cool. So we'll get to see the Dolphins practice against the Falcons. That's always nice to see new competition. And those practices always, I feel like, get a little more competitive when you go against another team. And then the preseason game, which I'm very excited for the preseason game. I need some new football content. And I need to see some of these Dolphins in action for the first time, even if it's just preseason. Sauce has to work on